about, if you were watching Wake Up Charlotte, we teased this conversation in this poll about a third of people saying they'd end of a relationship over someone not doing chores.
Well, a third of people say that maybe the reason you're single is because you're a slob.
Yes.
Okay. And the 2/3 of people end the relationship with you?
Who knows? A third of people said they've broken up in a relationship because
their significant other is a slob.
So
the odd couple.
What are you most likely to argue over? Taking out the trash, cleaning toilets, or laundry? Laundry, I don't mind laundry. But
laundry surprised me.
We were talking while we walked over here after the show and to this Facebook Live. For me, it's just not a big. Chores are never going to be something I argue about. I think I'm a fairly clean person. I like my clothes folded. I like stuff not in the sink. I like things vacuumed. But I'm just not going to argue over it. Like, if somebody doesn't want to do it, if my partner doesn't want to do it, fine, don't do it. I'm just not going to argue over it.
Here's the thing. I think, Ben, you have not been with people who are extremely messy. That's just not your style. You wouldn't be attracted to someone like that. The craziest thing is, as a girl, right, you go on dates with guys and they seem one way, they seem great. They're always coming over to your house. You see their place for the first time, and sometimes I am frightened sometimes. I'm like,
you live here?
I do a little prayer and I'm like, please let this not be like disgusting.
That's fair.
Because if it's gross,
that kind of turns you off.
A huge turn off.
Sorry.
So what did people say on your Twitter poll? What did that
laundry was
now I'm done with my rant for the day.
And then somebody responded actually in a comment. I forgot her name off the top of my head, but she said that she and her husband argue about who does the most as far as chores.
No, that's understandable.
I see that.
Not specific chores, because everybody is always the martyr and everybody always thinks they do more. Massive eye roll.
I'd say what people probably, you could put arguing over money. That's probably really.
That is to me, that is a big deal. I mean, that is a big deal.
I was talking to my sister the other day, though, because she's been married a couple years now, and they have a baby, and they have dogs, and so it's like, there's a lot that you don't realize until you're actually in it. And she goes, we were just talking, like, okay, what do you do and what do I do? Is this actually split? Because I feel like I've got so much to do, so.
But again, you know, I think, like, if you know who you're getting in the relationship with, clearly things change and your relationship evolves and stuff as you add children and different pressures and jobs, whatever. But, like, I always say this, I'm never going to be doing a lot. Someone who's with me knows that.
Well, that just goes to
meaning,
pick your
like,
spouse wisely.
If you're okay with, like, me not being someone who cooks a lot, like, I order like nobody's business.
Like 2 out of 3 meals a day?
No, I'm saying if you're hungry, I will get you whatever, even if it's like 3 a.m, I got you. You tell me what you want, I can find it.
Order it.
I'm good at that kind of stuff. I will not be whipping something up in the kitchen.
So you
just have to know who you're with. You know what I mean?
Self-aware and self-actualized.
You got to know that, like, okay, she's not a gourmet cook.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for that,
But you know what? Maybe there's going to be someone who comes into your life and changes that. Maybe they.
no, that's what I'm saying.
Met her?
That's not. It's not going to change, Ruby.
But you never know.
No,
You
I
never
do know.
know.
We know.
All right.
Don't
Carolyn keeps
Onward.
Larry's
over.
Postmates in business.
I really do. And DoorDash and all of them. I have them all on my phone. Don't you worry.
Okay, one of the other big topics on the morning show, has been trending. Of course, yesterday we talked about the impeachment inquiry and that announcement that came, and then yesterday we saw the transcript, or the notes is what they're calling it, a memo of the call between President Trump and the president of Ukraine. So what did you guys think? I mean, there's about 5 pages.
I think until we actually hear the call.
Yeah, which I'm not sure we're going to hear.
Yeah. No, so like notes are one thing, right? Like.
But hearing the tone.
Or just hearing everything. Like,
yeah. Well, supposedly we're going to hear more from the actual whistleblower himself.
Today?
Yeah, today.
Is he coming out?
That I don't think so.
Okay. We want to know who this guy is.
For his own safety, he's probably not coming out. The interesting thing is that people point out that, you know, was this quid pro quo? And I think the crux of it is the context of the situation. Ukraine is a struggling country who has Russia breathing down their neck, who has Crimea stolen a few years ago, who's trying to get in with the Western European nations. And
it's in a very fragile position.
Very fragile position, and asking for help from the biggest superpower in the country.
And also, I think that, you know, this is an interesting, intricate situation because of Putin's relationship with Trump.
Yeah.
You know, they developed
Right.
some kind of unusual friendship, and mortal enemies, Ukraine and Russia. So I think that all enters into this whole topic of conversation.
And to say, the question too is saying, do me a favor.
So when,
What does
that's
that
what I was getting
imply?
at. With all that said, when you have the leader of the free world saying, "Do me a favor,"
What does that actually mean or imply?
that's not
or,
a polite thing. That's not like, "Hey, by the way," I mean, that
but is it criminal is the question.
100%. And that's way beyond our pay grade. But that's sort of the crux of what people are arguing.
This will be discussed a million times.
Right.
On any network, on any talk show.
And
We'll
not
hear
just today,
ad
not
infinitum,
just
it'll go
tomorrow.
on and on and on.
100%.
It will not stop.
No.
Another big conversation, and this one is actually something that we could debate about because there's obviously opinions on both sides, and you could probably see some things from both sides, but it's over the movie The Joker. So that's going to hit theaters on October 4th. So we're nearing about a week from the release date and the premiere. And two things to point out. One, there was a threat that was circulating on the dark web that was spotted, and I guess it was a threat, an unknown threat about a possible mass shooting taking place in a movie theater on this premiere night.
Can I mention one thing about this?
Yeah.
I try to be aware of everything going on. There's not been that much publicity about this until now.
Right.
I didn't even know about
I
this.
didn't
movie.
know about the movie.
Of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think if that's your style of movie, you've
Then
heard
you know.
about it.
Yeah.
But it's not really out
It's
there
not wide.
in mass.
Yeah, it's
no.
not mainstream, like wide release
I mean,
trailers and
this
stuff.
whole discussion really just started
Yeah.
today for most people about this movie.
I agree. I actually, because we covered this last night, and I heard that we said, I'm sure everybody's seen it, and I'm like, oh, I would never watch the trailer because I'm not really interested in that kind of movie anyway. But a lot of people, like you said, Larry, maybe the ones that do like this movie or are anticipating the release have seen it. But we're talking about it today because of this threat that the FBI is now investigating, and there's concern, obviously. We talked to local people if they would go see the movie because of the threat or if they feel scared to now, and there was some mixed reaction. And then the other side of this is the movie is not going to be shown in Aurora, Colorado, and that's where in 2012 there was the mass shooting inside the movie theater. And Ben, you brought up a good point of how that shooter dressed up as the Joker.
Sure.
So family members of the victims have been speaking out and asking Warner Brothers, should movies with violence be airing in the first place?
The sensitivity is understandable. I mean, this guy dressed up as the Joker. For these families, this is a very sensitive thing, and your heart goes out to them because you can understand why they feel the way they feel. However, when you start to get into violent movies and not releasing them because they're violent,
Look at the past. How many violent
it's
movies
just,
have been out there?
Where do you even begin?
Yeah.
So many.
And while you understand the pain they're going through as families, the bigger picture of stopping the release of violent movies is just.
This is not the last scary
There's so
violent
many of
movie
them,
that's gonna
and
come
for
out.
someone like the Joker, I mean, there's not a more iconic villain in sort of show business and in TV and movies than the Joker. So I don't know, it's tough. It really.
Okay, so I'm reading right now from an article that has to do with the film. I did not realize this, but the film is a character study of how Arthur Fleck, a mentally ill aspiring stand-up comedian and clown for hire, becomes the classic Batman villain. So this is taking this character to see how he transforms into this. Wow. Now, Joaquin Phoenix is starring as the Joker, and apparently, I don't know what it is, but and I don't know if it could be sensationalizing this whole thing for sure, but they're saying that every actor who plays this has had some sort of issue when they play this character, that they get really involved into it.
With the exception of Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
He played it, and to me, that was the best Joker.
He was really
He had
good.
a little comedic
Yeah.
action to it.
But Warner Brothers also released a statement. They acknowledged the fact that, yes, we know that gun violence is a
big
critical
problem.
issue in our society. They are saying that they feel for the family members and the people in Aurora, but that storytelling
is that the basis of this movie, guy? Because I don't know anything about this particular film. It's been so.
So the basis of the movie is
Gun violence?
it's about how this guy who's mentally ill, aspiring
story.
stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Clown
Is that
for
right?
no, not a true story.
Okay.
It's how he becomes the Joker.
okay.
The story
It's
behind the Joker.
the background,
Yeah.
the backstory of the Joker.
Yeah.
And so Damien must know a lot about it. He's the camera guy. He's like, yes, no.
But now there are warnings from the military. There's like,
Yeah, and actually I learned too in that statement from Warner Brothers that they said they actually for a long time have given back and donated to victims of violence, including what happened in Aurora, Colorado. So they said even though you might see this movie as being violent, we don't encourage real world violence. And the conversation, and somebody was tweeting at me like, this is a debate that we could have for a long time because you rate PG-13, rated R, X-rated, movies to say who should be seeing this, and it's same with like video games. So your kids are playing video games, and what are they rated, and how violent are they?
I think the problem too is this idea that this character has become a hero instead of a villain. There are people who see him as they idolize
They glorified him.
Character who, again, is a mentally ill person who's fighting back against the system.
This is a kind of subculture kind of thing.
Of course.
It's not mainstream
No,
at
of course,
all.
but that's the problem,
Yeah.
right? Like it's people who feel connected to this person who's an outcast because they don't feel understood.
Yeah,
Those are
and
the kind of people who do these
That's the frightening part
things.
of it, like
Exactly.
what happened in Aurora. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And maybe the question should have been, instead of the whole rethink the releasing of the film, are you scared to go see the movie?
That's what my
now?
question
I'm scared
was.
to go see it. I'm just not going to see it. Like I just don't even want to sit through it. But I'm not scared.
If I was a fan of the movie and I was planning to, I think
would you be scared to see it?
I wouldn't be afraid to see it. I'm just not going to see it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
have
not
no
gonna see
interest
it.
in it.
Yeah.
In anything like that. Like I said,
mean-
that's a whole subculture. There are people who are, that's their big thing. I mean, the same people who like the violent video games, like the violence in movies.
I will say
Not a fan of
this.
that.
This is an interesting conversation we're having because my parents, I just went to visit them for the week. They love going to the movies. And I used to love, I would go to, I used to do a movie radio show about movies. I love the movies so much. Ever since this thing happened in Aurora, I've maybe gone to three movies in the theater because I'm
understandable.
terrified. For whatever reason, I'm just so scared of something like that happening. So I think, these things affect people deeply. Obviously, the people in Aurora, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Larry wants to move on.
Yeah, I do.
well,
I really is there anything kind we can talk about?
Did you see it in the teleprompter?
I sure did. I like kindness over all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, we always have time for kindness, Larry. This next story, so it was put on BuzzFeed, and I think it's pretty funny. They basically show all of these hacks for the kitchen. Did you guys see this?
Did not.
It was on Instagram. I think we can pull it up, and we can go through them. And the first one was what you've learned from Instagram.
Do we have it?
Sarah, do we have it? There we go. Okay, go back to the first one. Scroll up. So this one says putting your avocado in a little bit of water in a plastic bowl.
Does that work?
Keeps
Does
it.
that preserve it?
Yeah, it preserves
Wow.
it.
Oh.
These are like Instagram hacks that you never knew. I don't do that.
Wait,
but
do these
maybe I
work
should.
or are these?
These are saying these do work. I mean,
Right.
I do that one. Do you guys?
No.
You put the wooden
I haven't
spoon
heard of
over a
that one.
boiling
I
pot
haven't
and it
heard
keeps
that
it from
one.
boiling over?
Oh, I did not know it stopped
I'm gonna
it.
It
try
stops it? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, well, it does
it
work.
does it really work?
Now, it's not worked before,
have to be a wooden
but it has
spoon?
worked for
I
me.
bet it does because it probably absorbs it.
Yeah, it has to be a wooden
Plastic
spoon.
is going to melt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't- okay, keep
It
scrolling.
could be something
All
else.
right, what's next?
This one,
I love this. I do this.
Really?
Yeah,
What
with
is
mint.
yeah, to
Yeah.
preserve it, or do you make it?
No,
ice
I make it
cubes?
for my cocktails.
Yeah.
No, that's genius.
Interesting.
Yeah, put mint and lemon
Never heard of that
and
one.
water in little ice cube trays so I can be fancy.
Yeah.
What's
Never
number
heard of that.
4?
That's
See, I don't cook, but you can get a mean drink at my house.
We'll do a couple more. So this one was funny. This is making a quesadilla in the oven because you can do it 4 instead of 1 on a skillet.
yeah.
But the one below it makes total sense, and it's cut up your pizza so you could cook 2 pizzas on one cookie sheet.
Wow.
Damn.
Whoa.
It's Facebook. You're allowed
It
to
is.
say that.
Okay,
Wow.
we're going to stop right there. Let's have more to say.
That's interesting though.
Okay, and then
Very
I don't do this because I go through my bananas fast enough.
Banana.
What is this?
Wrap
You
it
wrap
with plastic
plastic at the end, and it preserves
My
it.
mom told
Is
me
that true?
My mom told me that recently. I'm not sure if it works though.
So I guess because the
Mine go
nutrients
brown
are right there.
If you put them in plastic, they ripen too fast. If you keep them in plastic,
So does that make them ripen faster, you think, or
No,
preserve
I'm saying
it?
put it in.
Like a plastic bag?
Yeah, a plastic
Yeah.
bag. Or any kind of
leaving
bag.
Oh yeah, because the
Like you get
gas
them
from
from
the.
the
store.
Yep.
Interesting.
Bananas.
Learn something.
Before
I'd like to have
we,
one right now.
Me too. With some peanut butter.
Yeah.
oh, now we're all
That'd be
hungry.
good.
Before we get to the forecast, I saw a picture that said we're seeing our first glimpse of fall, Larry.
A little tiny glimpse. I don't know,
It's
get
a
picture.
little.
Taken from a drone, we have this great view
How about
right here.
that?
That's
That's a
so
pretty view.
pretty.
Once you get to the
so
higher
pretty.
elevations, right at the peaks, you're starting to see some of the changes right there. And we're up about the almost 5,000 foot level, between 4,500 and 5,000 feet. It's going to take another couple weeks for all this to really become a glorious view like we'd love to see. So it's been delayed because of all the hot weather. As long as we don't get some kind of big storm to come through, then we'll see those start to change rapidly over the next week and a half in the mountains. And probably towards the end of October here in the Charlotte
When do you think is the best time to go to the
time-
Blue Ridge Parkway and see
I
the
would say
peep the leaves?
probably middle, about like October 17th, 18th, from that point through the 25th.
I can't wait. I can taste the s'mores.
As long as there's a storm. Storms just kind of can just ruin.
Totally mess everything up.
Yeah.
Now, what I learned recently from you was that even though we're not seeing the colors change, we're seeing it later. We're not going to lose the season of that because
I
it
mean, I
extends.
think, well, we're gonna. It's probably gonna be a little. It's gonna be delayed and probably
condensed.
shorter.
So it will be
season.
shortened?
Yeah, it will be.
Oh.
That's what you can blame it on the temperatures that we have.
Yeah.
We continue to have. Oh no, here they are.
They don't reflect fall.
So the first day of
There you
October
go.
is Tuesday.
Welcome to summer part 2.
Time is flying by.
That's crazy.
It's in the 90s through the weekend. Monday, Tuesday, that's because of front backs across the area. Then next Wednesday, 90. But I was looking at some computer models for a week from this weekend, and some of those indicating temperatures in the upper 70s.
Oh.
Which would be very nice.
The
need a
ultimate
little jacket.
kindness story that we'll leave everybody with. Was it your favorite? The kids teaching the
Super cute.
kid in the
cute.
wheelchair
Yes.
how to play basketball. So these were a group of elementary school kids from Top Sarah Elementary in Hampstead.
Look how great this
Love
is.
that.
They posted the video on Facebook.
And they're so excited for him.
I know. So they basically said some lessons can't be taught in a classroom. Kindness matters. They're all in 5th grade, and they were teaching that child that's in the wheelchair how to play basketball.
And he
Look at
passes
that.
it for whoop.
I love that.
Just totally
I like
inclusive right there.
My favorite part is when they're all cheering.
Yeah.
I know.
It's just such a good example.
If he could go through life like that, being that accepted,
Right?
that's a great story right there.
I love it.
That. Good news on your Thursday. When we see you tomorrow morning, guess what it'll be?
Friday!
Hope you have a great day.
Finally.
Bye-bye.